1967 was Canada's 100th birthday. So that's how they had the World Exposition in Montreal. And it was just at the time that the people were beginning to come from Japan. And I remember handling, quite a few number of tour groups from Japan to go to Montreal Expo. It was called Expo 67. It was a big event in Canada, and it created, along with that, immigration. And then in 1970, they had the World Exposition in Osaka, Banpaku, Osaka Banpaku. At that 1970 World Exposition in Osaka, Canada was the only country that had 4 pavilions. 4. They had the Canada Pavilion, they had Quebec Pavilion, they had the Ontario Pavilion, and they had the BC Pavilion. So with one country, they had 4 pavilions, and all of them were quite popular. The BC Pavilion was a big fir trees, was a main feature. The Canada Pavilion was designed by the very famous architect Arthur Erickson. And Arthur Erickson's structures are always known for glass and concrete, like Simon Fraser University, the courthouse. So that was a very popular pavilion. And so between the BC Pavilion and the Canada Pavilion, there was lots of interest in Canada. So you had the immigration change in 1966, Expo 67 in Montreal, Expo 70 in Japan, and all the social unrest in the United States. So more interest on Canada, focus on Canada for tourists and as a destination. So what I also experienced is a number of Japanese companies in Japan were expanding because their economy is starting to grow. And I would receive a number of requests from Japanese ad agencies to produce commercials in Canada. The first one I ever received, and people don't know this that much, but the first one I ever received was in 1969. It was a company called Bobson from Okayama, Japan, but they were very famous. They were the first Japanese company that made jeans. And that was the first commercial I received to handle. And we had about, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks of filming with the Bobson jeans, and I have several photos or many interesting memories of arranging for that. But with that as a beginning, I handled the Toyota, had a Carina, the car. It was called Toyota Carina, and they used Chiba Shinichi as the star for this commercial. There was a commercial by Ajinomoto, which was called Arugin Z, a sort of vital drink. And Arugin Z was the star, Japanese star was Wakayama Tomisaburo. So between 1969 and maybe 1975, I must have handled every year 2 or 3 commercials. There was Kirin Lemon, Katahira Nagisa. Yes, there were several commercials, and they always had these stars. So in the spring of 1971, I received a call from Mr. Endo, who was the second in command at the Canadian Government Tourist Office. Said, we have this program. It's called 11 p.m. And 11 p.m. was in those days Monday to Friday. 1-hour show, variety or a talk show, or Monday and Friday was from Tokyo, Tuesday and Thursday from Osaka, and Wednesday was from Nagoya. And on the Friday show is always entertainment portion. And the entertainment portion would be travel, leisure, fishing, all those things was on the Friday show. So for the Friday show, they want to do Canada. They want to see what there is in Canada. Can you set up a 2-week filming to introduce Canada? And it will be hosted by Mr. Ohashi Kyosen. So I said, okay. And I did not know Ohashi Kyosen. And when I mentioned that to my staff, I got that, we have this call from the CGOT. Oh, yeah, Kyosen is a famous MC. But I had not been in, well, I've been in Japan quite often, but I had no interest in the Japanese entertainment field, so I didn't know Ohashi Kyosen. But some of my staff knew. So anyhow, I set up a 2-week filming and to introduce Western Canada, and not just Western Canada, but British Columbia and the Rockies. And after they got back and they edited, I received a call. I don't know how I received it. I think it was a phone call, very expensive phone call then. But we are showing that filming, 11 p.m. filming, I think it was August something. Can you come to Japan and appear, with Mr. Ohashi on the show? So I said, well, yes, I could do that. And so I went to Japan, and I, of course, met with Mr. Ohashi again.